Hello guys, this is Anas Siddiqui and I would like to give you an introduction about our DevOps Tech Talk today on New Relic. I would first like to start about talking about performance monitoring and why is it essential. In our modern applications, most of our applications rely on third-party software, whether it's content delivery networks or whether it's storage on AWS or whether it's performance monitoring, APIs. There are so many third-party applications that our applications depend on, and monitoring and checking the usage of each of these applications is very essential to the performance of our application. In our DevOps setting, most of in fast deployment of our applications, we often forget that data driven decisions are very important for the user experience that we aim to create for, and hence performance monitoring helps us to do that. Whether questions like whether we want to scale up our servers, whether we want to increase the number of virtual machines, whether we want to contact a content delivery network, where how many live users we are getting right now, what are the bottlenecks, whether it's CPU usage, whether it's in IO memory, whether it's the SSDs, whether it's the network usage. um, so these kind of questions can only be answered by real-time performance monitoring. Also, a very essential part of it is downtime alerts. It can be very cumbersome to create solutions that encompass all these monitoring efforts into an application. Also, for each of the IT vendors, if they create an in-house solution, that would just increase their overhead. So we present a tool called New Relic, which does all this for us. So New Relic provides real-time application monitoring services. It provides three types of services: one for servers, one for applications, and one for browsers or mobile applications. So for servers, it provides services such as the health of the server, the CPU usage, memory usage. Similarly, for applications, whether the IO memory is a lot, whether the latency of the request is increased, number of live users, and for similar services for the mobile applications. We can also do synthetic testing, which is distributed testing, wherein New Relic simulates getting request for the web app from across the globe, so you can check whether your users in Argentina are facing a downtime, or whether the latency from users in Australia is the same as in US. And it provides all this data collections into a really nice insightful manner into a dashboard, which is very easy for IT administrators to check. Also, a feature of New Relic, which is not present in a lot of monitoring applications, is third-party plugins. If you're using services such as Memcached, Redis, CouchDB, services like these, so New Relic automatically detects the usage of these services in your applications and perform monitoring services for that, such as your Redis is taking too much time to load, or whether your latency of your CouchDB is more than expected. So the architecture of New Relic looks something like that. It's a monitoring SaaS. As we can see, we install agents onto our web applications or servers, which asynchronously send the logs to the New Relic servers hosted on their machines. Using these agents and using these agents, New Relic gives us analysis on its dashboards. Also, we can schedule it to give alerts on such time, such as if our application is facing downtime, or our application has exceed minimum latency. So this is the overall architecture of the New Relic service. Now we'd go ahead and demonstrate you a few of the features. Thank you.
Hi, so we will see how we can configure Relic to monitor our own Node.js application. So over here you can see that I have already configured a demo 1 application which is in Node.js and it's started monitoring. So we'll just see how I have done this. So what I will go to applications, and before creating an application I will just show you my Node.js project. so that you get an idea what exactly I'm doing. So in this Node.js project, in my main.js, which is a Node.js application, my first line is require new relic. So basically this is a library which will help the new relic system to new relic client program to basically get the monitoring details from the Node.js application and push it into a file, which is then basically asynchronously pushed back to the relic system, new relic servers, which basically reading this input monitoring data develops some visual analytics for our purpose. So this is a include, and we need to configure our relic new the file is new relic.js, which basically takes the name of the application and the key. So I'll change my application to demo2 since I'm creating a new one, and to show you how I can create a new one. This is a license key, which is basically an authentication that my application which is sending the monitoring data is an authentic one. So it will basically accept this data as authorized from myself. So over here I'll do add more. So in the add more, I'll click the type of application for which I want to do it. So it's Node.js. So I've clicked on it. Yeah. So over here, I need to get my license key. Then I will do this is basically the steps, which is basically to install the new Relic APIs. Then the steps which I told you that the new relic.js file, I need to mention the app name and the license key. The first line in the application, that is required new relic, and then deploy my application and I can see my data. So in order to see that, I'll just mark this to as listen to my application. So it started listening to my application, but my application is not running yet. So what I'll do is I'll up my Redis server first, that is Redis server. So the Redis server started and it's listening on port 6379, and I will start my main.js application also. So I've started the application, it's listening on port 3000, and I'll try to simulate a request. I have created a script for that. So it will just basically simulate a request. I just uncomment this line. So what it does is it's basically making a, a browser simulating a browser request, and it sleeps for 2 seconds and again simulate the browser request. So basically I'm just trying to load my Node.js application with some request. So I'll run this. So as you can see, it started loading it, and I can see I'm getting the browser request over here. So as per this, my application setup is done, and I should able to see the dashboard in some like within 5 minutes as per them. So I'll just clear up my setup page and go to the dashboard if I have to just to check if it's ready or not. So this is my demo 2, and my dashboard is not still ready. So I'll just wait for my dashboard to get ready. It will take like another 5 minutes. I'll pause the video till then. Hi. So as you can see, my stats has been started captured by the new Relic system, and over here I can see various stats such as the time spent in the Node.js application, or the time spent in the Redis, or the response time of the application. So this is like a time series data, so it just tells me the response time at different interval of time. Over here I can also see the AppDex score, which is basically the when I click here you can see the AppDex value. So it's basically the average response time. So if my response time is, if I currently it says to 0.1, so what happens is like any response time which is below 0.1 is considered as a satisfied one, and basically there are different thresholds, like from 0.1 to 0.4 are considered as tolerating, and another ones are considered as frustrating. In order to that, we also get the throughput of the system, that is the load on the system during different interval of time. If I go on over here transactions, I can get the different types of transaction which is being done on this particular web server application. So I can see that my most of the load will consist of um, mu handle, which will basically get the image from the Redis server and display it. Another one is like the list server. So over here I can just see the load for the different particular operations over here, list server, get, or mu. This is again the throughput of the system. If I go to the database section, I can see that Redis and lrange is the operation which is taking the most time, that is 6 milliseconds. So over here, basically I get various aspects of my Redis database application, the response time, the average response time, and basically I can set up alerts if to set some threshold, and if my suppose my application is not responding, or if my application is not up, or I'm getting a lot of 404 errors, I can set different kind of alerts and generate errors for that, so that I can generate an error analytics report for that. So this is just a brief overview of how I can basically connect my application to new Relic system and start monitoring it. Thank you.